Hello again, friends, and welcome back to another Meet Your Position with me, the host, Martin, the Governor Lambert. Welcome back. Before we get any further, you can, of course, support us on Ko-Fi. Drop us a small donation to keep the platform going. Today, we are joined by somebody who is from a club that have got a lot to almost celebrate. It's almost there for them. They're turning it around. They're going now for another celebration of another kind. They want to obviously stay in League One. We're looking to break out of League One. Of course, we're playing Wigan this weekend. And joining me is Barry Worthington. Barry, welcome in. How are you today, sir?
Oh, very well, thank you. The sun is shining up in Wigan. There's a slight breeze going. It's an incredible drying day, as we say up here. So I've pegged my undies out on the line. And
the winds of change are sweeping through Wigan. The takeover is nearly there. What's the latest from the Wigan fan perspective on the takeover, and how excited are you for it?
Right, it's all done and dusted. The only thing that needs to happen is the rubber stamp from the EFL, which they've already given the nod to, but it has to be done official. We're thinking it's going to be happening this week, so the administrators could be out by the time we play Ipswich on Saturday. If not, we've been promised 31st of March at the very latest, but we're thinking it's going to be probably Thursday this week.
Happy days. You must be excited about that.
Oh, relief more than anything, just to get the administrators out. You know, they just ravaged our club, to be honest, decimated the squad. All the young kids sold off as well. You know, I were promising. I've just seen this morning Alfie Devine, who Spurs stores offers in summer, just been called up to the under-19s, England under-19. He only turned 16 in August. You know,
and how much did he go for?
He went for, I think, about 350 grand.
Oh, that's not great considering what he could be as a player.
Yeah, I watched him last season playing for the under-18s. He was 15 at the time. He was centre mid. We played Birmingham in the FA Youth Cup, and they had like 18 and 19-year-olds playing in that team, and he bossed them. He bossed them all. He is a star in the making. I'd say he's a future full international. Spurs are raving about him. They think he's fantastic. He's already played for the first team. Played in the FA Cup up at Marine, and he scored a goal. Come on at half time, scored a goal from him. He's a definite star. He was on the bench as well in the last game. I think they played. Was it Brighton or Southampton?
One of the two. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. Somebody down the south coast. Yeah.
So it's going to hurt you every time you see him. But it's about the winds of change. Leam, Richardson's obviously your current caretaker manager. We've got Paul Cook. They're close friends. They've worked together in the past. There's lots of talk down in the Suffolk corridors of whispers that the pair might be reuniting. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a big fear for us. It's something I'd like to see Liam stay with us and take the. You know, he's temporary manager. I'd like to see him take it permanent. He's done fantastic with what's been at his disposal this season. You know, that was still in with a shout of stopping up. He on the grapevine, I've heard that although he loves working with Paul Cook, he feels it's a bit too far to uproot his family and move down there. So fingers crossed that from our perspective, that's true. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did move down in summer anyway, because I don't think he'd openly admit to the fact that he was leaving the club, even if he were, because you need some sort of stability, especially in a relegation fight like we're in, so he's another great guy. He's a great guy. Last week on our podcast, we had the club doctor on the show and trying to get a little bit of inside information. And he's been around football since 2008, I think. Yeah, he's worked at Preston, Bolton. He was actually the doctor that ran onto the pitch when Fabrice Mwamba.
Oh wow!
So he was Bolton's club doctor at the time.
Wow.
So he's a well-known figure, and he's a bit of a rumman as well, as we say up north. He's a bit of a rum bugger, and he's good to talk to. But he said he's worked with 16 different managers, different clubs, and he said the situation that Wigan Athletic are in, he said he couldn't have chose a better person to lead the club than Liam Richardson. He said there's times this season he's carried the club on his shoulders. And he's a fantastic character to have around. I mean, we'd heard that he didn't really want to be a number one. He likes being a number two. He likes that being closer to the players, perhaps than a manager is. but he's been brilliant. And it's a break our hearts if it left, it would. But, it's football. What will be, will be. And hopefully Ipswich is just that little bit too far to uproot his family and he stays put.
He sounds like a really good guy. So, for the Town fans sitting here watching, what would the 3 qualities that you would say would shine about Leam Richardson and that Town fans, if it did happen, should be excited about in their assistant manager?
Well, number one is his coaching abilities and his tactics, his football knowledge, I suppose. Yeah, he's brilliant. When Cook was here, it was always a whisper from Liam Richardson that I'd see a substitute change or see a formation change during the game. He was like that, like perhaps Peter Taylor to Brian Clough, how closely they work together. And that's what he like. So he's definitely got that football knowledge. He's fantastic. I mean, we try and emulate how we played under Cook, but obviously we've lost the quality of players, so we can't maintain that. But we're still trying to play that type of football. So it's obviously had a massive input into Cook's style. So football knowledge, calmness, very calm. He's a very calm character. Never gets carried away with his pre or post match interviews. Another thing that the doctor said about him is that players feel they can go to him with any sorts of problems, and he's calm. He's very reflective. That gives a stabilising influence on the squad. And he's a very friendly guy as well with the supporters. He seems to understand the club, and he talks well about the fans, and he talks to the fans through his interviews as well. So, yeah, I mean, he's what you want. He's open and honest. He appears to be a good tactician, and the players like him. I mean, what more do you want?
What more do you want? Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds, I think many Town fans sitting here might be thinking we could do with those whispers during a game at the moment, because a couple of head-scratching substitutions from Cookie, a couple of tactics where you think, not quite sure, from my perspective anyway. And so it sounds like that, he's almost the missing link in the Paul Cook artillery, if you like. He's what brings the fire mid-game. And a couple of things for me have shone out. But everyone has always said about Paul Cook how great of a guy he is. So, but on Wigan, what can we expect from you guys this weekend? How will he set them out? Who are your danger men? What can we expect?
First things first, we've lost both Gavin Massey and Vivian Solomon Ottobar, our 2 wide players, our 2 creative players. So we're going to be missing those. So they're a massive hole to fill, and we believe they're both out for the season as well. So it's going to be, going to really impact on us. So we might play a different style. We've got a couple of kids who we can throw on, who similar sort of vein, very creative. Fellow Asgard, he's just turned 18. He's probably, I think he's done about 15 games this season, scored 2 or 3 goals as well.
Yeah, 2 goals
international. Yeah, he's a very, very, very good player. I think he was just left out recently because he's only just turned 18, and it was a bit much for him. And you need to have your players in and out. So he's one to look out for if he gets a start. Also, Callum Lang, he's our main man at the moment.
7 goals, yeah.
Yeah, he's been with the club since he was a kid, and we've just been loaning him out here, there, and everywhere throughout the past 5 seasons. He was on loan at Motherwell earlier on for the first half of the season. We recalled him. Nobody knows why he was sent out to Motherwell. We can't. That's a quandary that nobody can solve. But anyway, he's back, and he's brilliant, and he's dynamic. He runs with the ball at his feet. He scores worldies. He can score one off his backside in the 6-yard box. He's that type of player, and he's under contract for next season as well, which is a blessing for us. So he's the guy you need to watch out for, definitely. Callum Lang. We signed another guy from Aberdeen called Funzo Ojo, who was at Scunthorpe. Very quiet player, but I do like him. He sits in front of the back 4 and he just tidies everything up. He's one of those. Since the transfer window shut, we brought him in just before deadline day, and we've hit some good form since then. So he's made a massive difference. Also, we've got Lee Evans back, who's absolute quality in League One. Absolute quality. Should never be playing for a bottom 4 League One side. Never. He's a championship player all day long. But he's missed 2/3 of the season so far with injuries, so his fitness isn't there. But his quality is his ball playing is fantastic. He's a passer. He's a Welsh international. He's still only 26. He's a bit of a unit as well. Giving time on the ball at your peril. That's all I'd say. Yeah.
His 4th season with you, it says here, over 250 appearances. Wow. He's really been there a while. So is he a sort of player, if you expect, say, let's say Ipswich got promoted by some miracle, Cookie would come back and say, I love some of that in Championship?
I'm not too sure because Cookie had him more of a squad player than a
really? Okay.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he started loads of games with us, but when he had a fully fit midfield, we brought Joe Williams in, and we had Sam Moss. He brought Joe Williams in, and that was Cookie's midfield too. So Evans was on the periphery, coming on as a late sub or whatever, or starting when there was suspensions or injuries. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether he'd take him or not.
Which is good news for you, because you say you're worried about losing him. But there's 2 players that we do know about as Town fans, and that's Joe Garner and Will Keane. Talk to us about them too.
Joe Garner.
Go on.
Joe Garner's enjoying the Indian Super League because he went there in November.
Of course he did. Of course, I'll probably edit that bit out. To be fair, it just says here Joe Garner 6 goals. He's still your second top goal scorer, despite not being playing for your football club.
Yeah, because we've had no strikers. All our strikers.
That's why it's thrown me, because I thought he was still. I'm sorry.
No. Joe Garner was our main striker. He asked, could he have his contract cancelled? Why he got to move to India? Kyle Joseph, 18-year-old dynamite. Everybody tips to be a Premier League striker. He banged in 6 goals. Suffered a serious injury, out for the season. Will Keane caught COVID. So
really?
Yeah, he was quite unwell with it, and he's to be honest with you, he's not been the same player since he come back. We signed Proctor from Rotherham. First game back, he got injured. He was out for a couple of games, came back, then he caught COVID. So we've been really, really struggling with strikers, really struggling. Callum Lang's missed about 3 games as well with injury. He's had a bit of a groin injury. So we are struggling, but Proctor came back. He played at Wimbledon, his first game back, and scored. So he's got 2 goals for us. He played last Saturday away at Accrington, and to be honest, the whole team were awful that day, and Accrington were awful as well. It was one of the worst games of football I have ever seen.
Well, don't worry, Town are coming into town this weekend. We often provide that type of display. Your form, actually, when you look back over the last 5, is you got some decent results in between 2 defeats. Obviously, defeat to Charlton, defeat to Stanley, but in between there, you found a little bit of form. 3-0 victory over MK Dons. You beat Plymouth 2-0, who have been a surprise package for me this year, and 1-1 with Wimbledon. Up and down. Is that how you describe your season in terms of form? You just can't get a consistent run going.
Yeah, we're consistently inconsistent. That's what it's been. The Charlton game, we shouldn't have lost that. Our 2 centre halves collided with each other and give their striker a run through on goal.
Classic third-tier goal then.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, that had 0-0 all over it. I think it was the only chance he had in the game. And then we played MK Dons and hammered them 3-0, and we destroyed them. And I thought they'd come and pass us off the pitch, but they didn't, and we passed them off the pitch. The performance levels were through the roof. They were brilliant. And then we went to Plymouth, like you said, same thing again. We could have won that with 3 or 4 goals, and I'm not exaggerating. Then we played Wimbledon. We had a week's rest before we played Wimbledon as well, because we should have played Sunderland on the Saturday, but because they were in the is it the Pizza Express or something?
The Prezzo Trophy, whatever it is,
yeah, whatever it is. So that was called off. So we thought, we'd be nice and fresh for a trip to Wimbledon, and we were awful. We were awful. We went in front, and their only shot on target, I think, it was in the game, and they scored the equaliser. But we didn't play really well. And then, like I said, on Saturday up at Accrington, terrible. So I don't know whether we just petered out a little bit and we might be ready for another upsurge, hopefully, fingers crossed we are. Fingers crossed. We're back home as well. We've been terrible at home, but Charlton, like I said, it was a nil. For me, it had 0-0 all over it, but we did play some nice stuff. And then against MK Dons, we knocked the ball all over the place. So are we getting a little bit of home form back? Fingers crossed, touch wood. I hope we are. Yeah.
Obviously, 2 points from currently being outside the bottom four, so not a million miles away. What's your gut telling you, Barry? Do you think you're going to have enough in the tank?
All being equal and injured players being fit, it will definitely stop up. But it's not, is it? And it just depends how the other clubs are, struggle as well. I mean, I think with the games coming Saturday, Tuesday, everybody's picking injuries up, all teams. So it all depends. I think we've looked at it from the last 10 games. I think four wins keeps us up. Definitely. But when you think we've only got 9 wins all season,
yeah. Then
it becomes a big ask, doesn't it?
It does.
But it's the same for the other teams. Like you said, we're 2 points off Swindon, who are 6 off the bottom. So but when you look, I think it's Rochdale. Is Rochdale bottom now?
Rochdale at bottom. You have 32, played 36. Wimbledon just behind you on 35. They've got a game in hand over yourselves. It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tight. You want those 4 wins desperately, I imagine.
Yeah, we do. And our last game of the season is at Swindon at home.
Oh,
John Sheridan Derby.
Very tasty. That could be very tasty.
Yeah.
But you've got to set it up to be tasty, and that's, as a fan, really the only thing you can really hope for, isn't it? Either it's done and dusted by that point, or it's set up to be tasty. We're the same this end, We are looking at our remaining games, thinking we need 7 wins, 7 or 8 wins, 8 to be sure, 7 to have a shout. So you're on that list of, I think, of many Towns fans who are saying, got to get a win here. And we don't want to be losing 3 on the bounce. Lost 2 on the bounce already. Don't want to be losing 3 on the bounce, and it's going to be a tough game. We expect. But we expect a little bit something today because this weekend, because Paul Cook's obviously had his first full week in charge in terms of no games interrupting training, etc. So we're quite sitting here with anticipation of what could be. What does your gut say in terms of a score prediction just to finish up this Meet the Opposition video? What are you saying this weekend, Barry?
Well, just before I get to that, if I'd like to say, your running is fantastic for us because don't you play 7 of the bottom 6?
We do.
Because we've got Wimbledon twice.
We've got Wimbledon twice. Bristol Rovers. We've got Rochdale, I believe. Let me just get our fixtures up. Yeah, our running is... Yeah, and that's why many Town fans are also anticipating getting those 7 wins. I'll be honest, because we do forget, though, when you're chasing the playoffs, that you guys are chasing survival as well. So we've got Bristol Rovers, Rochdale, MK Dons, Wimbledon twice, Northampton, Swindon we've got for you, and then Shrewsbury. We could help you out, yeah.
You
help
can.
us out this weekend, and we'll help you out in the following weeks.
You can do us a massive favour. How's about we take a draw this weekend and then you kick on?
See, if we'd gotten a draw against Pompey last week, I'm quite sure I would have taken a point this week. But because they didn't, we can't. It's one of those. We're not against the business end of the season, Barry, and every point suddenly means 2, doesn't it? It almost means double at this point of the season. It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, I think a point would be more beneficial to us than it would be to you. And on that note, I'm going to go for 1 apiece.
Yeah, and that'd be the worst result for us.
I think Paul Cook will make some really crazy substitutions towards the end of the game because he does have a soft spot for us. I mean, he played for us twice. He came through as a kid. He's managed us. I don't think he'd like to send us down.
No, well, sadly, Blackpool, who have come from nowhere, have almost put sentiment out of the window because they're suddenly in the playoffs. They've got a couple of games, even on us. We were looking in thinking we're the team with games in hand, and now we're looking at Blackpool thinking, where did you come from? Invited you to the party, and there we are. So I think Cookie be thinking can't be too sentimental this weekend.
No, he's professional. I mean, I'll give him that. He is very professional, and he'll be coming for the win. And he'll know how to get the win as well because he knows Liam's tactics. But Liam knows Cookie's tactics. So
this is it.
Could be a stalemate.
It could be. Let's hope not. Let's hope because a win for either side would do the world of good for either one of us. Whereas a draw kind of doesn't, So,
and believe it or not, we've got 2 players missing on international duty. 2 defenders.
Who have you got missing?
Curtis Tilt,
who we were linked with for a long time under Paul Hurst, never got him. And who else?
And
Sorry.
That's Curtis.
That's Paul Cook telling me he won't be sentimental.
Right. And Tendai Dariqua.
Oh, yes.
Right back. So the
I like him.
Right back. Yeah. He's given away 3 penalties, though, since he's come in February.
My fan base, my community would tell me that's my sort of right back.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. So unluckily for us, he's not playing this weekend, you'd say. But Barry, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Good luck. Not this weekend, but good luck. And I hope that you do stay up.